Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a positive and productive day. My name is Kel with the Planner Isle, and today I'm going over a few things you should consider tracking in your planner to help you stay focused and productive throughout your day. I'm adding timestamps if you want to skip ahead to a particular section, and as always, I've included links to all the products I use down below, and please leave me a comment with any questions or topics you would like for me to include in my next video. Without further ado, let's hop in. So the first thing you should be tracking, and arguably the most important, is your schedule. Whether you're working or go to school full-time, if you're a stay-at-home parent, or whatever your situation is, having a scheduling system is essential when it comes to managing your time and day-to-day tasks. If you've been planning for a while, then you're probably already familiar with this concept, but if you're new to the planner community, I wanted to share just a few of the benefits that you can expect to see, and also a few of my favorite scheduling inserts and methods that will help you get the most out of your day. So the first reason you should be tracking your schedule in your planner is as a way to master time management. Because most of us have busy schedules and a lot of things happening at the same time, writing your schedule out makes it easier to prioritize your tasks and really make sense of all of the clutter that can sometimes happen when we overthink or multitask. One of the main benefits of mastering time management is the ability to map out your days the way you want them to unfold, which makes it easier to plan for those unexpected events and contingencies that tend to pop up when things get busy. Another benefit of time management is being able to anticipate with more accuracy. That's one of the reasons that I like keeping prior month and week inserts in my agenda. I've referenced them quite a bit in my planner routine to sort of monitor my progress on any goals that I've set for myself and to get a better idea of the things that take up the most time so I can better allocate my time in the upcoming weeks. The second reason you should be tracking your schedule is to reduce stress and improve well-being. Anxiety is at an all-time high, and at least a part of that, I think, ties into general feelings of uncertainty when we plan ahead or think about the future. We obviously can't avoid all stress, but having a clear and organized schedule, it gives us control over those things that directly impact our day and helps us better recognize and accept those events that are beyond our control. So there's a variety of different inserts and spreads that can help you manage your schedule. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video, but I do want to share a couple of layouts that I use and how they help me stay organized throughout my day. So I have one main planner that I use as my everyday carry, and in here my schedule is broken down into two main sections, my overview section and my schedule section. Now, in terms of methodology, my process is pretty simple. I have a very linear scheduling format, which for me just means that my setup is in reverse chronological order. This is the style that works best for me, but you should definitely play around with your layout and set up your sections based on what works for you. So starting with my overview section, I have three inserts here, my yearly overview, quarterly, and then my monthly spread. And then in my schedule section, I just have my weekly inserts. The great thing about this style of planning is that you can easily access the information that you're looking for based on how much detail that you need. So for example, if I'm buying birthday cards for September and I want to see how many birthdays I'm celebrating that month, I can just flip to my yearly and see that there are only 2, so I only need to buy a couple of cards. But let's say I'm planning a party and I need to know whose birthday it is. In that case, I can flip to my quarterly spread and see that it's Jamie's and Tara's birthday that month. And then similarly, let's say that I want to know if I have any appointments that day or if I have anything scheduled that may interfere with the time of the party. In that case, I can reference my monthly spread to see any conflicts. And then lastly, let's say I want to do some birthday shopping and I need to block time off the week of the party. In that case, I would reference my weekly spread to determine the day and time that would work the best. So essentially, I'm taking the path of least resistance by using the shortest route to get the information I need. I've been using this method for a little over 2 years now, and it's really impacted my productivity and just really sped up the amount of time that it takes to get things done. Having a setup designated for certain events with varying amounts of detail helps you find what you're looking for a lot faster without the need to flip through a bunch of pages. It also cuts down on duplication, which in itself can be time consuming, but again, this is my method. What works for me may not work for you, and that's totally okay. The important thing is that you find a scheduling system that fits your needs and one that you're committed to using every day. So, the second thing you should consider tracking in your planner is your goals. We all have dreams and aspirations and a vision of ourselves when we look to the future, but sometimes we can focus on the big picture without understanding the smaller steps that actually get us there. Writing them down helps you to visually see your goals and helps you stay on track to meet them. Achievement is one of those things that I feel like it tends to fall prey to out of sight, out of mind, especially because most goals involve a process that can take months or even years to meet. Keeping your target visible is just a great way to check yourself and keep yourself accountable, particularly on those days that are difficult or days where you just aren't feeling your best. The great thing about goal tracking is that there's really no set format or anything. You really only need to capture a few things to put you on the right track for success. First is setting clear and achievable goals and regularly tracking your progress and milestones. And this is something that I struggled with in the beginning. A lot of my goals are centered around fitness, and I found that a lot of the sort of checkpoints that I set for myself were either unhealthy or just plain unrealistic. You never want to set yourself up for failure, so make sure that you're gentle with yourself, you're giving yourself grace, and that you're setting attainable goals. You also want to create milestones so you don't get discouraged. So if your goal is to lose 50 pounds in a year, and let's say you're 2 months in and you've lost 10, it's easy to get discouraged and feel like you're not meeting your goals. But if you break it up into smaller chunks, say something like 4 pounds a month, then you've actually exceeded your target for that month. Tracking your progress and milestones, it gives you that sense of advancement, and more importantly, it keeps you motivated throughout your journey. Second is creating action steps to keep track of your progress. And similar to before, it's breaking down those goals into smaller achievements, but it's also having a clear understanding of the tasks that get you there. So using the same example as before, losing 50 pounds in 1 year is your main goal, and then your milestones may be losing 4 pounds a month, but then the question is, how do you get there? How do you meet that target? And that's where this step comes in. You're essentially creating action items that, if you meet, should guide you to your goal. So in this case, losing 4 pounds a month, it may consist of eating less calories, exercising more, or cutting out processed foods. If your goal is budget related, your action steps may be to save an extra $100 a month or eating out less. But no matter what the ultimate goal is, it's important to map out the steps to get you there so it doesn't feel as daunting and you don't end up overwhelmed. And then lastly is keeping track of any obstacles or setbacks that you encounter along the way. And this is where you can really see the benefit of physically logging your progress. There may be something that was working last month that no longer applies or is not giving you the same results. If that's the case, you may want to tweak your plan a little bit to get back on track. Maybe you were on vacation or had an emergency come up where you weren't able to hit your milestones that week. Logging those instances can help you recognize areas where you need to make adjustments so you can continually progress. The beauty of goal planning is that it's supposed to be dynamic, and ideally it should adapt and change just as we do throughout the year. It's one of the main drivers in self-development, and in my opinion, sets the foundation for personal and professional growth. The third thing you should track in your planner is your mood. And I can't put into words how beneficial this is, especially if you tend to struggle with anxiety or depression or any other mental health issues. There's so many benefits to mood tracking, but I'll list just a few that I found helpful over the years. So first is mindfulness. By tracking your mood, it really encourages you to pay closer attention to how you're feeling throughout the day and can help you better predict or recognize the triggers that may be causing your mood to shift. If you have a lot going on, I know sometimes it can be difficult to pinpoint who or what or why you may be suddenly feeling upset or angry, which could end up making your mood even worse. Being mindful of those moments and checking in with yourself can really increase your awareness and help you identify fluctuations that might otherwise go unnoticed. The second benefit is that it can sometimes help identify patterns. So over time, you may be able to match your mood to what you did or did not do that day, which again can help you notice triggers that could be causing or at least contributing to your mood. So for example, let's say that you're a student and you've been feeling terrible for the past few days, and then you flip to your schedule and remember that you spent last week studying for finals and you averaged somewhere around 3 hours of sleep per night. You could reasonably assume that lack of sleep could be causing your agitation. Or maybe you noticed that last month you felt excellent more often than not, and you want to replicate that for next month. You look at your trackers and you notice that you exercised more last month than normal, or maybe you ate more veggies or something. Depending on what you track in your planner, you may be able to identify patterns and correlations between your mood and your activity that can help you make more positive lifestyle adjustments to improve your overall well-being. The third benefit is managing stress and long-term progress. So because tracking your mood can potentially identify patterns, it can be a really good tool to help reveal when you're most likely to experience stressful events. And if it's something that you're closely measuring, then you can proactively take steps to either treat it or work with a professional on ways to manage it. It's also a great tool to see your mood over extended periods of time and really see your emotional growth and progress, especially if that's a goal that you've set for yourself. Either way, there's so many insights that you can get from just being self-aware and mindful of your state of well-being. So fourth on my list of things to track in your planner are sinking funds. So this falls under finance, and there's so many things related to budgeting and finance that I 100% think you should track, but since I've limited myself to just 5 things total, I'm just going to pick this one. So sinking funds are one of the most important tools in your budget. If you're not familiar with sinking funds, it's essentially a fund where you set aside money for a specific purpose or unexpected expense. They're similar to savings accounts, but the main difference is sinking funds are a pool of money that's set aside for future expenses, while savings are typically put away in a general account for storing money. The great thing about sinking funds is that it helps reduce financial stress. Knowing that you have funds set aside for a large or unexpected expense, it helps curb that feeling of uncertainty and worry, and really just gives you that peace of mind that you're financially prepared should the need arise. I mentioned in my May budget video about an accident that happened with my cat a few years ago. Her hip was completely crushed. She had to have a ton of surgeries, and I was so thankful that I had a fund with money put away for her. That lifted the financial stress, and I was able to focus on her rehabilitation and getting her back to her healthy, spoiled self. Another great thing about sinking funds is that it helps you save over time. In some of my funds, I'm putting away like 10 or 20 bucks a month, which may not seem like much, but over time, if you're not pulling from your fund, that can add up super quick. It's a really easy way to sort of trick yourself into saving more without feeling the burden of putting a ton of money back all at once. Another huge benefit of sinking funds is financial preparedness, especially for larger purchases or goals. I have several friends who are using their fund to purchase a home. I have a colleague whose son starts college this month and she's using it as an education fund. Student loan payments are coming up, so that's something you may want to consider using it for as well. There's just so many options on the table, but breaking down those large amounts into smaller goals, again, just makes them that much more achievable. If you're interested in seeing how I curate my budget, I will link my May budget video up here in the corner. I'm also offering my budget templates as a freebie in my resource library, so make sure to head to the website and sign up for my newsletter if you're interested. I only have a few sizes right now, but comment below what size that you need and I'll get those uploaded to the library. So the fifth and last on my list of items you should consider tracking are lists. And by this, I mean to-do lists, wish lists, habit trackers, movies, music, books, meal planning. The options are endless. There are so many areas that you can track based on your interests and needs. You can incorporate these into your main scheduling section, or you can include them separately in a notes or miscellaneous section as well. I do a mix of both. So because I keep my finance planner and my main planner, I have lists for budgeting and expense tracking. If you have a separate finance planner or don't use one at all, you can always just use plain graph paper to list your bills or expenses that you do want to track. Another list that you can include in your routine are wellness trackers. So you saw a little bit of this with my mood tracker, but I also track my weight, measurements, calories, exercise, symptoms, and medicine. This year, my primary focus has been on improving my fitness, but tracking these areas has also made me pay much more attention to where I'm spending the most energy and has really helped me get a much more holistic view of my overall well-being. If you are tracking your health or fitness routine and you're interested in these trackers, I am offering these as freebies in a printable version on my website. They aren't up yet, but make sure to follow me on Instagram to be the first to know when they're uploaded. One of the most common lists are to-do lists, and this is a must-have in any planner. So you can add to-dos in your main scheduling section, but if you keep your lists separate, just make sure that you either purchase an insert with an area to check each task off, or purchase blank note paper and make your own checkboxes. You can also use highlighters to mark when a task is complete, or you can just simply mark through it with a pen. The important thing is that you are referencing it frequently so it doesn't fall by the wayside. That's one of the reasons that I like having my to-do list mixed into my scheduling section. I want it to always be visible. I also have a lot of lists related to work in here as well, so things like projects I'm working on, mileage reimbursements, my direct reports, engagement codes, and anything else that I tend to refer to throughout the workday. I also list music that I'm listening to or artists that I want to check out in my planner as well. I have a pretty extensive music library, and I like to keep my favorites here just as a reminder to check out new music or any collabs that they may have coming out. If you are using this as your work planner, this is a good place to play around with color or add more decorative elements to your planner that you may not want to use in your main agenda. Again, the important thing is that you personalize it to fit your needs so you can make the most out of your time and resources. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more planner organization and lifestyle videos, then please hit the like button and subscribe. You would really help my channel out a lot. I have a lot of exciting things coming, including more freebies added to the website, so make sure to follow me on Instagram for the latest. Sending positive vibes to you all. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.